Good afternoon, ladies. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, Sharon?
Great. I am Sharon Porter. I'm Senior Vice President of Public Relations for Enlivian, and I'm joined today with Tamika Melvin, who's Senior Vice President of the Housing Choice Voucher Program, and Kia Cawthon, who is the liaison between our housing providers and the agency. How are you guys?
Awesome today. How about you?
Good to see you guys. Good to see you. So the Housing Choice Voucher Program is historically known as the Section 8 program, and we're always looking for new landlords. Tell me why, Tamika, is being a partner with the Housing Choice Voucher Program a good thing?
Doing business with the Housing Choice Voucher Program is good for your bottom line, and it's also good for your community. Partnering with Enlivian helps you serve families in our community that are low income, veterans, or impacted by homelessness. One thing that the Housing Choice Voucher Program does is that it pays a rental subsidy to our landlords directly on behalf of the family so that they can afford safe, decent housing. The family pays the difference between that based on their income. And that rental subsidy is provided on behalf of the family to the housing provider each month on a regular basis.
All right. So that sounds all well and good, right? So basically what you said is that people get paid regularly, right?
Yes.
At the beginning of the month. And that sounds all well and good, but there are all kind of myths about the Section 8 program, right? So Kia, tell me, what do you say to people who think Section 8 families are just going to come in and tear up their house?
That's a good question, Sharon. We try to explain to housing providers is that our families are no different than if they were to rent to persons that are unsubsidized. You treat it just like you would if you were renting to someone in the private market. And what I would like to add is to what Tamika stated is that there is an advantage to participating in our program. It definitely makes sense because if you are a provider with us, you are able to get guaranteed rents in the event the family experiences financial hardship. As well, we have a readily supply of families on the program for you to continuously rent your unit. So overall, it is a win-win for Enlivian and helping our families as well as our providers being able to receive steady rental income.
So what I hear you saying is that you're going to get paid even if the family can't pay, and there are always renters in the pipeline looking for a place, which to me, to your point, makes great business sense. So Tamika, what do you say to people who say it takes too long to get paid?
Well, we do have some rules and regulations that we have to follow by HUD, but we are trying to work with our IT department to streamline our processes, make things more automated, as well as we have implemented some incentives to help counteract that delay in payment. So we do offer sign-on bonuses as well as new unit bonuses, and we will make the payment back to the date of when the lease was executed. So even if there is a delay in payment, it goes back to the day that the family moves into.
So, and I want to be clear that people understand, we're not talking a delay in your monthly payment, just in the initial payment and getting that landlord and family and their lease contract or under contract. There's just that initial gap. But to make it, what you're saying is there are actually some incentives that cover you during that time, correct?
That is correct. So that initial payment, we have to execute what's called a housing assistance payment contract. Once that's implemented and you receive your first payment, after that, you receive it at the beginning of the month, each month on a reoccurring basis.
So now, Kia, let me ask you. So what about the inspections, right? Because you hear a lot of people say, oh, I failed these inspections and they always want to come in my house. One, what's the advantage of having an inspection? And two, how often do they take place? And are they really a hassle?
Well, with our inspection process, to kind of help smooth things out and help our providers understand that process, I am able to provide the provider with what's called a housing quality standards checklist that is approved by HUD, the Department of Housing Urban Development, and it gives a guideline to the housing provider what to anticipate when an inspection is done by one of our certified inspectors. As far as the inspection process, initially, prior to the provider leasing up with a family and the family moving in, we do what's called an initial inspection. And if the family continues to live in the unit, we will only do an inspection every 2 years, which is referred to as our biannual inspection. So the inspection process is streamlined, but just to recap, we do provide them with information so that it can run smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, having an inspection of your property, I think also is a good thing for a landlord because everyone starts on the same page. Everyone understands where we are and where we're not. And
Right.
so, and then also the reason why we do it, I should say, is so that we're always making sure that our families are living in standard housing that have some standards and some safeties that are applicable. We don't want any slumlords, and we just do that to make sure. And we don't expect any, but everyone just stays on the up and up, and we're clear.
Exactly.
Correct. And I want to add too that one of the things that we've added to our process is self-certifications. So we'll come out, do the initial inspection, and a family can move in if the unit doesn't have any life and health safety violations. And the landlord can send us pictures, invoice, etc., to clear that violation and still get paid back to the date that the family moved in, as long as there's no health and safety violations.
All right, so great. So that means that a person doesn't have to wait. Like after the inspector comes out the first time, they're not waiting for an inspector to come out. If there are no health, life-threatening situations that they have to account for, they don't have to wait. They can actually just take a picture and send it back in, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Tamika, you talked about some incentives, but you really kind of like just glossed over that. Let's get into what some of those incentives are.
Okay, yeah. So we currently have 4 different types of incentives. We have a new unit bonus. So even if you're already on our program, but say you acquire additional units, if you put that unit on the program, we provide a $250 bonus for adding that new unit to the program. For our new housing providers who have never been on our program before, we offer a $250 sign-on bonus. So signing up with Enlivian with your first client, you get both the sign-on bonus as well as the new unit bonus for a total of $500 bonus.
Wow.
We also provide a continuity bonus. So if you rent to one of our housing choice voucher families and they decide to move, but you re-rent that unit to another family on the program, we pay you another $250 bonus because we do know that there are some delays in contracting that unit to the next family. So we do try to incentivize our landlords to participate in the program as well as to continue to participate in the program because we value them as a community partner.
I love it. I mean, I think these are all great incentives. And where else are you getting this? Like, if you're doing this on your own, you're not getting an incentive to do this at all. So I would really encourage people that you should really think about partnering with us. Keita, let me ask, what do people often get wrong? Because you're the person who's out there in a community. You're the person recruiting landlords. What do people often get wrong about our program?
That's a good question, Sharon. One of the main, I would say, misconceptions about the program, and I have this conversation often with our potential housing providers, is the fact that they think that we will manage their property if they house one of our families. And what I explain to them is that, no, we don't manage the property. Will provide the housing subsidy to you in leasing up with the family. And what I explained to them, that it is important for them to make sure that they enforce their lease, and the lease needs to be properly and effectively communicated with the family so that the family recognizes what their responsibilities are in leasing the unit. And if a housing provider enforces their lease, it makes a great tenancy relationship. But we're there to support them if they have questions or concerns in the future.
Yeah, I think it's important to note is that we see as landlords as our partners, right? We're here to
Yes.
provide housing, but we also see them as partners, because if we didn't have them, we couldn't provide the housing that we do, or the opportunities that we do to families, right? And so people often think that we're not here to fight. We're here to be friends, because it's a win-win relationship. And so let's just talk about, we've been through the pandemic, or we are in a pandemic, and there have been eviction moratoriums and rent moratoriums. Tamika, tell me, how did landlords within Livian do?
They did very well. Because our program is income-based, any families that were on the Housing Choice Voucher program that experienced a hardship due to COVID, they were able to report that change to Enlivian, and we would pay a higher subsidy amount to the housing provider. So the housing provider continued to receive their full contract rent in spite of the pandemic. So that allowed our housing providers to continue to pay their mortgage and maintain their units and maximize their profit.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of landlords who are not on our program. And after I explained this to them, that had they been on our program, they would not have gone as long as they had gone, many of them without rent, had they been partners with us. And they're really taking a second look at the program. So you guys, we all have a housing symposium coming up. What can we expect from the housing symposium? Tamika, why don't you go first?
All right. So you can expect tips from housing providers who are currently on the program, how they've incorporated the Housing Choice Voucher as a stable option into their real estate portfolio. So it's a steady income source, for one. You can also expect to hear legal advice to help protect your real estate investment.
All right. And when is this?
So our housing symposium will be on November the 10th, starting at 9 a.m.
And it's virtual, correct?
It
Yes.
is. It is virtual.
And how much is it to attend?
It is
free of charge.
It's free of charge for landlords who are currently on the program, and for housing providers who are interested in the program, or just want to learn more about the Housing Choice Voucher program and how it is a stable investment for your bottom line.
So for those who are interested in becoming a landlord, you can go to enlivian.com/2021 Housing Symposium. And that's where you'll get all the information, and you'll be able to register. You can also call us at 704-336-5183. It's always a great opportunity, great wealth of information coming out for landlords on how to do your business better and how to work with us. And, it makes sense for your bottom line, right?
Definitely.
All right. Well, ladies, I want to thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. We're not in the office, but I still see you, and I'm so looking forward to the symposium. And so we're going to put the information back one more time online. And so if you're interested in joining our symposium, you can register at enlivian.com/2021 Housing Symposium, or call 704-336-5183, where you can register for free. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you, Sharon. It was a pleasure.
Take care.
Bye-bye.